The Chicago Sky suffered a rough loss at home yesterday. They're second in a row, but we're going to talk about some of the things to take away from that game. We're also look at how the Chicago Sky are currently ranking right now amongst the WNBA players and go into the mailbag. All that and more right after this.
Welcome to Chicago Sky Central, and here's your host, Hayes.
What's going on, Sky fans? Welcome to another episode of Chicago Sky Central, your number one spot for everything Chicago Sky related. I'm the host there, Hayes. More importantly, you guys can follow the channel at Chicago Sky Pod on every social media platform that we happen to be on. With that being said, we're coming off a game in which Angel Reese had her first double-double, 11 points, 12 rebounds, 3 assists, and 2 steals. She played really well in the game. Overall, the Chicago Sky were held back in large by turnovers, poor execution overall, and just, some things that they need to tighten up down the stretch of this game. This is a rebuilding team that is going to go through its ups and downs, and that's just going to happen over the course of the season. Now, it was ugly at points last night, especially, facing off against another really solid defense in the league overall, but it's just, Angel Reese's motor continues to stand out for the Chicago Sky. And, that's something that a lot of people are noticing. Coach Witherspoon, after the game, saying she wants to compete, and she does it. She knows that everyone sees her as a rookie, but she sees herself as a player. Just a player in the game, trying to get better every single day, playing against some of the best in the world. And so, it looks like on top of that, Elizabeth Williams, who's a veteran in this league, also giving really good words of encouragement to Angel Reese, saying Angel's going to rebound. That's something she came into the league doing really well, and I know she's going to continue to do that. I know a lot of rebounding is effort, and I'm going to get that from her every night. So her teammates are trusting her, and you see that on the court, right? Angel Reese is really helping to change the momentum of some of these games. She's doing all the dirty work. She's doing all, the things that she can do well to contribute, not trying to play too much out of herself, which is something that some people are looking at as negatives, right? Some people do want to see her, get more opportunities in the mid-range, things like that to really kind of grow and develop that part of her game as well. And I completely understand that, right? I'm not one to knock that. And overall, the Chicago Sky, throughout the 5 games so far in the season, have shown a lot of really good things, specifically on the defensive side. I would even say that our offense at times looks really solid as well in possessions, and when they're playing with rhythm, when they're getting going, they look really well. But we're really looking at, something of we need to get all the pieces kind of operating on at the same time, right? We've seen times where Marina Mabry takes over games, even though last night was a really bad game for Marina Mabry overall, and she sits out large parts of the third quarter. We've seen Diamond DeShields, Kennedy Carter, right? These players as well stepping up to take on really good, huge scoring loads for the Chicago Sky. And we've seen how the Sky look as an offense when you have those players pushing the pace, playing well, things like that. And it's something that we just haven't been able to get consistently out the Chicago Sky's offense so far. But, when we go over the stats here in a second, you'll see that the offense, even though it has been a struggle for the Chicago Sky, especially during certain stretches, they're not as far off. And when you have players like Isabel Harrison coming back, Diamond DeShields has been, hurt and kind of dealing with injuries and things being in and out of the lineup, things like that. Kennedy Carter between foul trouble and not playing at certain stretches. There's enough with this team that you see where it could go, right? And 5 games into a rebuild, the Sky are still ahead of schedule. I still maintain that they are ahead of schedule, but we got some things that we make tougher on ourselves, right? And so that's something that the Sky are going to have to learn how to do. And, Elizabeth Williams, even after the game, saying like it was between the ears, right? The execution really stood out as something that held the team back. And, they have veterans. We have competitors on this team. You don't doubt the heart of this team. And, yeah, we've taken on the identity of Coach Witherspoon. But outside of that, we got players that are going to compete and going to fight hard in these games. And so we got to figure it out. And it's a balancing act, right? We don't run a traditional half-court offense, which kind of hurts us and works for us sometimes when we're in rhythm. But we got to find the way to balance that. And as we do that and find those balances and we get players back from injury, players, staying and kind of getting into the role a little bit more, we'll see how they work themselves out of it. But, the Sky have showed some really good things, and they've shown some things for a struggle so far. When you look at the defense right now, the Chicago Sky 5 games into our season, yeah, there are teams that have played a lot more games than us. We have the 5th best defense in the league. We're allowing 81 points per game. We're the 6th rebounding team in the league, averaging 35 rebounds per game, but we're allowing 37 rebounds per game. So we're averaging getting out rebounded. We got to get that together. And we're allowing teams to shoot 43% from the field and 36% from three-point range. That's the fourth best fourth best field goal shooting percentage and the third best three-point shooting percentage that we're allowing teams. So even though our defense has looked really good at times, there's still room that we can grow on. Getting out in closeouts, not allowing teams to get out in rhythm, things like that are things that we can absolutely work on. The rebounding aspect is something I really want to see the Sky also improve on, where and when they can. We got to get that under gear. And if we do that, I think things are going to start going better in the Sky's way, right? So to even hear that we're allowing some of the best field goal shooting percentage in the league, and I think by the eye test that people see is the Chicago Sky's defense looks pretty damn good, but we're still struggling in certain aspects of the game when it comes down to that. So those are things that we're going to have to look to improve dramatically. And if we can do that, we can get to a place of being better, right? And being more consistent with that. And so, the Sky also, we're doing something solidly even on the offensive side of the ball right now. But, just focus on the defense. We'll get to the offense. We're the second leading team is getting steals in the league. We get 10.6 steals per game. So that's really good and bodes well for the Chicago Sky in that area that we're playing in those passing lanes. We're playing, with some ferocity in that case and things like that. And we got to continue to double down on the things that we do well. But then when you look at the offensive side of the ball, the Chicago Sky right now are 10th in field goal shooting percentage, shooting the ball right now 40% from the field, which there are only 12 teams in the league, so we're bottom of the league in that. We're 7th in three-point shooting percentage, bottom half of the league, but still better than I think what people would expect, shooting the ball 32% from three-point range right now. And we're 9th in turnovers. We're still turning the ball, over a little bit too much, but our turnovers are still low. We still have one of the lowest turnover numbers in the league. But, a game like last game with 22 turnovers definitely inflates that some as well. The Sky are doing what you expect a rebuilding team not led by, but having a rookie, right? And players kind of coming into different roles. Like I've said many times, Marina Mabry really stepping into, the star role for this team. And she is our star player. She is a player that we need her to do a whole hell of a lot for this team overall. Another thing that's hurting the Chicago Sky, we're dead last in free throw shooting percentage. And that's a struggle, especially when you look at, we get to the free throw line a lot. We're dead last, shooting the ball 70% from the free throw line. But then when you look at the number of attempts, we're 4th in the WNBA in free throw shooting attempts per game, averaging 20 free throws per game. So we're getting to the free throw line. We're just not hitting that at a really good rate quite yet either. Those things are definitely things that hurt the offense as well. Those are easy points that we're leaving on the board that we can get. Now, Angel Reese, her her free throw shooting percentage is getting better. So we're seeing that increase for the team for sure. But we just got things that we need to work on. And efficiency is another thing as well. So as the Sky team continues to go through these growing pains that we're seeing to start off the season, keep an eye on some of those statistics, some of those things that we're doing well that we absolutely could be better at, right? And some of the things that we're struggling at. So we got some things that we right now we need to work on, right? The Sky also are in the league so far. We're scoring the 4th most points in the WNBA from the mid-range. And, you can look at that as a good thing or a bad thing, whatever you take that at. It is what it is. But that's where we're operating at, is majority in the mid-range, and we need to improve that. But we're spreading the ball around pretty well offensively. We have the 5th most assists in a single game in the WNBA so far. We're scoring the highest percentage off 2-point attempts as well. The Dallas Wings is the only team high as us. 61% of our points are coming from 2-point attempts, which coincides with us shooting such a high percentage from the mid-range game as well. So we're bottom of the league as far as points off 3-point shooting percentage. That's something that I don't necessarily see turning around. We're 10th right now in the WNBA at that. So, these are things that we can improve to make the offense flow a little bit more well. But that means we're going to need Marina Mabry. We're going to need Kennedy Carter. We're going to need Dana Evans. We're going to need Diamond DeShields. We're going to need these ladies who are our best, shooters in a lot of ways, to be more efficient in how they operate in the game, especially in the half court. And so that's where the Sky can improve the most at, is the half court. Transition, I'm not too worried about us in transition. When we get rebounds, we naturally kind of run out. We try to get those outlet passes. That's why we saw a lot of turnovers in like last game. But we got the things that we can improve on, and we got a blueprint. And the thing is, the Sky just need to continue to build off of that. And as we continue to see how this team's going to develop, I feel really good about where we are right now. Like I said, still ahead of schedule, 2-3 on the season. We got some things that we've done well that we can build off on, and we got some things that have been ugly. And so as we look to improve that, with still players coming back, Camilla still coming back, the fact that the Sky are one of the better rebounding teams in the league without Camilla Cardoso says a lot. Isabel Harrison, one game played so far, didn't play a whole hell of a lot of minutes, but she's going to help in those aspects as well, right? Diamond DeShields being healthy and unhealthy coming back into the rotation. So we got some things that are looking up for the Chicago Sky right now. Camilla coming back in a couple of days is going to help a whole hell of a lot of that to see what she brings kind of right away, in that. But as she kind of acclimates as well, she's going to help with a lot of things. The block shots are going to go up, things like that, things that we are already strong at. She's going to help solidify, as well as her ability to get out in transition and run with those guards and things like that. They're going to help a lot. So, those are things that so far where we stand at 5 games in, we can always improve certain things and aspects of our game. But, some things to feel confident about, some things to be concerned about, and we're going to keep it pushing. But with that said, we also got to get into the mailbag for today. We got 2 voicemails and a text message that we're going to read. This first voicemail, this one's from Nate.
Going on, hey, Nate. Hey, I missed a call last week after the New York Liberty game and the Dallas game with you guys. You and Steve-O was on it, man. I had my question was going to be, how long do you think, Therese Teaspoon leaves and in the lineup before Kennedy takes over? I was like, oh, man, that was literally going to be our question. I was in the car. I was good. Oh, man, you guys are on it. But I said it before, I'll say it again. I love Dana. I do. You know what I'm saying? Good perimeter defender, shot maker. She's just not a starting point guard. She's still, you can still see she has 2 guards in her head. She's still making the same mistakes she's making last year. Like some bad decisions, then she'll, have some good defense, make a shot. I saw a lot of when Kennedy was on the floor with her, you know what I'm saying, she wasn't getting her the ball. I believe Kennedy, you got to put the ball in her hand. I believe she needs to be a starter. Like I said, I love Dana, but I just don't see her as a point guard, starting point guard. You know what I'm saying? Tasha Harris, man, Dana was draped all over and she just shot the ball right over because she's so small. Just lucky. I was like, oh, man, Jesus Christ. And then the hero ball at the end. So it was just a lot of mad mistakes, not just her, not just blaming her, but it was, mistakes. But, this young team, they're going to learn. But I do believe Teaspoon is playing chess. Everybody else playing checkers. You still got Killer Miller, Camilla on the bench, ready to come off. Izzy, they being real slow and intentional with Diamond and Izzy because they want to make sure that they last. Remember, she said when they drafted Angel, we're going to win. Teaspoon ain't playing. They got a good staff. The thing with her staff is she got new assistant coaches, but they replaced their whole head coach and everything. Coaching does matter. But, enjoy listening to you guys. Love the in-depth, in-depth analysis from you and Steve-O. I'm like, man, Steve-O, read my mind, man. This is ridiculous. I was literally trying to say that Steve-O, like, oh, man, the fouls, the point guard play, the playmaking, they're a good defensive team. So my question for you, Hayes, is where do you see, they already had a schedule. I said beforehand, you heard me, I said they be a top 5 team. But where do you see this team, as they get healthy, where do you see them by, I say, the all-star break? All right. Talk to you later. Thanks.
Dana Evans not a starting point guard. I kind of go back and forth on that myself because, the only other not the only other option. Your 2 other options are either Kennedy Carter, who has a lot of the same, mistakes as a point guard, right? Yeah, she's better scorer. She breaks down the defense more consistently, but I think you kind of need that coming off the bench. In my personal opinion, I get where you're getting at. And then you get Steve-O. He wants to see Lindsey Allen start at the point guard position, and that's where you kind of can get into more of the traditional half-court offense type things. Does Coach Spoon kind of make those alterations, or does she double down and let Dana kind of figure it out? And that's where the question lies at with Dana Evans, right, as a starting point guard. Has not been great by any stretch of the imagination. Has got great stretches, right, but hasn't overall looked great, and the offense overall is kind of imbalanced as well. And then as far as Coach Spoon playing chess, I agree with that. She's playing the long haul there, right? Like, she understands and holds the team to expectation of how to play now, which is what you want to see from your coach. But she's also playing the long game of this and is looking at where the Sky need to be in a month from now, not necessarily just where they are right now. And getting Izzy, Diamond, Camilla, right? Those ladies all coming back and getting and staying healthy is going to be a big part of where the Chicago Sky can ultimately go this season as well. So I like all those things, all great points there. And to answer your question at the end of that voicemail, where do I see the team by the All-Star break? I see the Chicago Sky somewhere around 500 around the All-Star break, but I see the offense starting to kind of come together. That defense, though, is going to be elite. I really think our defense is going to continue to be on that precipice of being elite. We've had a couple of down games as well. 2 losses in a row will bring down some of your defense's averages, but I think this is a Sky team that is still going to rest their head defensively. But I think ultimately, by the All-Star break, I would like to see the Chicago Sky 2 to 3 games above 500 if possible. But if we're still hovering around 500, we're looking much better and understanding that, hey, things are trending up, I'm kind of okay with that as well. But great voicemail there from Nate. Let's get into this next one. This one's from Maddie Legend.
Yo, what up, Hayes? This is Maddie Legend. I'm calling in for the Chicago Sky. Listen, you can go ahead and say it. Look, Marina, she got that thick-ass body, dude. Like, she can, just like Luka Doncic, like, she can move and move people out of the way and get her post moves and do those step backs with that little chicken wing and get people off of her too easy. She got those moves, man. Like, just go ahead and say it. Like, she got a thick-ass body. Like, I was thinking the same thing, bro. Anyway, same thing with Angel Reese. That girl is relentless. She is relentless. She's in there like Joe King Noah. I'm telling you, man. Like, she's in there, like, just get the rebounds. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. I wish, you know what I wish. But anyway, I ain't gonna say it. So, yeah, man, that's all I have to say. Angel Reese, Marina, and Diamond Carter. Oh my God, she got them like Kyrie, bro. Like, oh my God, it's looking good. It's looking good. I can't wait. Can't wait. The league ain't ready for us. Let's go, bro.
Listen, I agree with you. Marina getting into the post is going to be something that helps. Now, we need other 3-point. We need spacing. Right now, the Chicago Sky don't have any spacing. We so many of our points come from the mid-range. On top of, we aren't hitting through ball consistently at all. So it's allowing defense to kind of set in on the Chicago Sky. And because of that, it makes it more difficult. That's why you're seeing the spacing issues from the Chicago Sky. That's why you're seeing every time like an Angel Reese or Elizabeth Williams gets the ball, there's always a help defender right around there because the floor is already smaller. But then on top of that, we're not spacing the floor at all either. So those are some of the things that I need to see from this team. Marina needs to hit more threes. But her back to the basket game, her ability to get to the post, get crafty, get physical with ladies, that's something that I love to see. In the step backs, she's damn near elite on that. So I agree with all of that. And then when you look at the Angel Reese, Marina, and Diamond DeShields, these are going to be ladies who are hugely important to what our offense is. Angel Reese, especially with those offensive rebounds, getting second chance points, second chance opportunities overall for the team are going to be really important too as we go and continue on. So we just got to see these things continue to develop. We're seeing nice bones there. We just got to keep bringing it, Maddie. So thank you for that voicemail. And then the last one is 2 text messages actually from the 815. Didn't leave their name, but says this. I watched Camilla play, but not as familiar with her game as Angel. In the W, do you think she will struggle to score in the paint? Angel sometimes struggle due to the height and women being stronger. Do you think Camilla will be able to cash in on layups in the paint? Camilla, a physical specimen. She's not going to deal with, there's going to be some of that adjustment period because you're just running into stronger players more consistently. But Camilla's going to be physical right away. She's not going to shy away from that physicality. Her length, her activity, all those things are going to give opposing teams fits. And it's going to be interesting to see how teams deal with having Angel and Camilla in the game together as well. Within Isabel Harrison and Elizabeth Williams as well coming off the bench. Like, these are all long, athletic, physical players at that 4 and 5 position that can play a really nice role for the Chicago Sky. So we're going to continue to see how that develops. I like that overall, but I think Camilla's going to come in and her physicality right away is going to be something that people notice and have to take notice at in a lot of ways. And then as far as your second text message, do you guys think that there's any chance of re-signing Brenda Maxwell once she's healthy? I mean, another shooter is needed bad. I think there's a high probability for that. The fact that Kaiser isn't playing at all, the fact that the Sky were very high on Brenda Maxwell, I think as soon as Brenda is healthy and cleared, she'll be back with the Sky. Is that going to be this season? I've read some things that maybe the knee injury's a little bit more serious than initially thought, but I think as soon as Brenda is cleared, she'll be back in the Chicago Sky uniform. She'll be back on this team. And like you said, her shooting is very, very so much so needed for the Chicago Sky team. So great text messages there. Guys, Don't hesitate to send in your thoughts, your feedback, anything in these mailbag episodes. We want to hear from you guys. We can't be the number one spot for everything Chicago Sky related if we're not hearing from the Chicago Sky fans. So make sure you guys are getting that in. Otherwise, make sure you're following the show at Chicago Sky Pod. You can send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns, ChicagoSkyCentral@gmail.com. And then lastly, if you want to leave a text message and our voicemail for the mailbag, the number to do so, 773-270-2799. We are the number one spot for everything Chicago Sky related. And we'll see you guys tomorrow. Game day tomorrow. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Love you guys. Go Sky. Peace, y'all.
This has been a presentation of the Break Media.